Welcome back to Nozzle Grand Garage. Today I'm out in the shop and we're going to be taking a look at Vevor's all-in-one diesel heater. This is one of their entry-level units, really cost effective. As you can tell, I haven't even opened the box yet, so we're going to tear into it, get it set up, and get it running. I believe I will be using it to replace this older unit, which I have a feeling it will be very similar. I kind of plugged that one up, toying with black diesel in it. Not a fan of doing that. They coke up pretty quick, so I don't suggest doing it. With that said, I will pull that one out, set this one up in its place. Should pretty well be plug and play, and we'll see how it runs. But first, we gotta get it out of the box. Unit looks to be relatively well packaged. Classic Vevor orange color, which I figured. We've got, looks like a couple vent adapters and such right on top. Got the instruction book and the unit itself. So give me just a second and I'll get this out of here. So here we are out of the box. Pretty standard setup from the looks of it. The fuel level labels, a nice little touch. Not 100% necessary, as you've got a sight window here, but hey, why not, right? Looks pretty basic, which at the price point, that's to be expected. Comes with standard installation kit. You've got your flexible exhaust pipe, muffler, air inlet routing or air inlet pipe, air outlet pipe, mufflers and clamps, so on and so forth. Pretty well the same stuff that all of these units come with. This one does come with a little remote to turn on and off the heater, control temperature, things like that, which again, pretty standard. And the unit itself, as I assumed, it looks to be near identical to the one I've got in place already. A lot of these units are. I do like to open these units up before putting them in place to make sure you don't have any fuel lines pinched, things like that. Anything going to be close to something that's going to get hot or cut fuel line. But yeah, I'll go on and pop the cover off. We'll take a look at it, and then we will get it set in place and get it fired up. So the cover comes off with just 4 little clamps that holds it in place. And yeah, pretty standard unit. Looks to be put together fairly well. We've got clamps on the fuel lines, which is good to see. All the clamps are tight. The line is routed away from sharp edges and such. I would say the only issue, which is kind of typical, maybe where the fuel line runs through the sheet metal housing to get to the bottom of the heater. Some of these, I wish they would put a little grommet on those, but yeah, most don't. So it did look like a clean cut hole, no burrs or anything on it, so I doubt it'll be a problem, but just something to note. But overall, the build quality, and they've got the heater at the right, or they got the pump at the right angle, wiring's all tucked up nice. Seems to be a pretty decent build. So I'll go on and get the cover put back on it, and we'll get it swapped out and fire it up. All right, we've got the unit bolted in place. As I thought, it was a direct replacement. I went on and used the new exhaust pipe because the other one was full of soot, which, yeah, I kind of assumed it would be. So we've got it wired up to a 20 amp, 12 volt power supply. I have not powered the unit on yet. I did go on and fill the fuel tank up with pump diesel fuel. So yeah, Energizer power supply. We've got power up here.
Start heating.
And there we go. So I'm gonna let this unit run. Usually on these all-in-one style units, you don't have to prime the fuel system on them. The pump will run long enough on the first startup to get fuel to the unit and ignite. So we'll see if that happens. Let it run for a few minutes and see how it goes. On a side note, if you guys are installing these in little outbuildings, things like that, a good investment are these through-wall exhaust flanges. They are a two-piece design, so it insulates the actual exhaust pipe from the wall. And yeah, they're pretty cheap. I think I gave like 25 bucks for that one, something like that. I will put a link to those in the video description, as well as a link to the heater and a discount code for y'all. But anyways, still waiting for the heater to come up. So yeah, let's see how this works. Ignition. All the way up. Let it go. See how hot the exhaust gets, see how hot the air temperature gets, and just check it out overall, see how it runs. Bring it back here in a bit. We've been up and running for a little bit now, 12-ish minutes. Figured I would note, this unit does have Bluetooth set up as well. You can use either the iOS or Android app and get it by scanning the QR code right in the manual. I typically don't use the apps to control them, so I don't mess with it very much, but the apps are usually pretty standard, let you control temperature, time, on-off features, the basics. You can do the same pretty well with the remote, but you can monitor the unit with the app, and it will tell you if there's any trouble codes or things like that. It'll display it on the app. But yeah, we'll go on and take a look at our temperatures. Now it's been running for a fair bit. So the front side of the plastic housing running 124 degrees, 127 degrees, that's pretty standard. The external case of the unit itself, 75-ish, a little warmer down by the unit itself, that's to be expected. Air temp, or at least the temperature of the tubing right now, the ductwork, 160 degrees. 160, 155, 160 air outlet temp, which, yeah, it will burn you. Pretty standard. Let's see here. Exhaust temperature is running over 300, which it's a little higher than I like to see. My previous unit that I had tested ran a little bit lower, meaning that more combustion was taking place. There was less waste heat going out the exhaust, which is a good thing. So this unit's a little less efficient than that one based on exhaust temperature. I do know people run the exhaust through like baseboard style radiant heaters and things of that nature. I've never messed with it. If it's something you want to look into, you can check that out yourself. But yeah, overall, seems to be working well. Exhaust is burning clean and hot. And yeah, we'll grab our decibel meter real quick. Got our decibel meter. We're going to see just how loud this unit is. So with the exhaust running outside, directly in front of the vent, around 68 to 70 decibels. Approximately 5 to 6 feet away. Around 60 decibels. Are they quiet? No, typically not super quiet. They got a small fan in them that moves a fair amount of air, and when you've got small fans moving a lot of air, that tends to make noise. It is what it is. It's just how they work. Are they super loud? No. I would say they're no louder than any traditional means of heating, like an RV or something like that. So these work really well for campers, RVs, little pop-ups and stuff like that might not have means of heat. This is a great option. I know a lot of people in the bus building world use them. I do as well. I've got one in my bus. I've got one in my truck, my flatbed, and I absolutely love it when I can push a button in the house when it's single digits outside, and 20 minutes or so later when I'm getting in the truck to leave for work, all the windows are clean, the inside of the cab is 75 degrees. It's perfect. So yeah, this here, Vevor's unit, all in one deal. I would say this would be ideal for heating a small workshop, a shed, something like that. These taller units, the all-in-one unit like this is a little bit more complicating to work into a build like a bus or a camper or an RV. They do make the small squattier ones that are all-in-one. Typically for installation in a vehicle, I like to use the ones that are all separate, with just the heater box or the burn chamber itself, the fuel tank and all that stuff is separate, not in a housing, so you can place the heater wherever you want it. But yeah, overall pretty happy with it. I think it will add a fair amount of heat to the shop, which the last one before I killed it, it worked great. I won't be running oil in this one, and really I didn't kill it. I just need to take it apart and clean it, and I don't have time to mess with it, so it's going to be stashed for parts. But anywho, I'm going to wrap this up. If you got any comments, questions, complaints, drop them in the comment section below. If you would, hit that thumbs up button. Helps us out quite a bit and doesn't cost you anything. I will leave links to everything that I've talked about in the video description, so be sure to check those out. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching.